Alright, so today is June 22nd. We're getting started here. Greg's coaching, and I'm going to get the first set of questions now. Alright, so first one's from Bill. What is the best way to build a large amount of citations to a site to create a natural link profile of naked URLs? I actually wouldn't necessarily create a large amount of citations anymore. I would start with building the like a smaller amount of the better citations. I wouldn't necessarily go out and order like 100 citations for sites anymore. We've noticed that's not really working as well. So I wouldn't necessarily do a large amount of citations. I would stick to smaller amounts, higher quality. And higher quality can be either, high domain authority, like the really big ones, Yelp, stuff like that, Facebook, of course, any of those big authority ones, BBB, and then, or they can be very relevant. So I would say quality would also be, if you're a Dallas plumber and you're getting something from like a Dallas plumbing directory, I would say that's pretty high quality. All right, I need to create an explainer video for my SEO site. Any thoughts of how to get it done? Well, I mean, if you want to do it yourself, I would just use Camtasia or something like that. Or you can hire someone. You can, it depends on your budget. You can go Fiverr, but you're probably going to get super high quality out of that. If you just want something that's there ranking, not a profit for you, I mean, you could have someone in Fiverr do it. Again, it's just not going to be high quality. Or you can make a post in the Facebook group and see if anyone wants to do the video for you. But I mean, if you have Camtasia, it's pretty easy. You can just shoot a video with yourself on the screen, kind of explain what you do, your background, kind of explain the basics of SEO, that type of stuff. All right, from Steve. I transferred one of my PBN domains from Network Solutions to Namecheap last week. I've not yet changed the DNS as the name servers are custom private name servers. Is it better for me to change the DNS to Namecheap's free name servers or leave as is? I mean, when I'm doing PBNs right now, I don't worry about the name servers anymore because I use I use regular hosting for each name server. So, or for each link I do, like each link I send to a my site is from a different host. So I mean, HostGator might be ns1100.hostgator.com and ns1101.hostgator.com, and then Apollo Hosting might be ns1.apollohosting.com, ns2.apollohosting.com. So each host you have, when you do it that way, you don't have to worry about the name servers because each host has a different name server. If you're talking about using like an A record for your name servers, and this is more advanced, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. If you're talking about using an A record, it doesn't really matter, Steve. But you would be using Namecheap's name servers if you use an A record. All right, from Ben, is there an advantage to sending PBN links to categories or tags as opposed to specific pages? I've seen you do this on the DAS for PBN videos, but I was wondering if we can also do this for the money site. I mean, it's going to boost up your domain authority, Ben, but typically I don't do it, to be honest. If I'm stuck and I'm looking for ways to move up and nothing's working, I might try something like that, and it does work. But typically I don't do that because I don't need to. So. But I mean, to explain that, Ben, like the more links you have going to the different locations of your site, the more it builds your domain authority. So that's why that's done in certain situations. And we have a good amount of questions that came in, so that's good. More people piling in, so that's good. All right, so from Steve here, I use QRank to keep check on my keywords. Sometimes if I update a few different profiles to check on the keyword rankings later, If I use Google to search for something, it keeps showing me a CAPTCHA page and asks me to prove that I'm not a robot. Does using keyword tools signal to Google that we are doing SEO, and if so, is this a bad thing? I wouldn't worry about that, Steve. I mean, it's just, if you have too much activity from one IP, they'll just make you do that to verify that you're a human. They log your IP or something. Should I use a VPN when checking keyword tools or manually searching in Google for my keywords check position? I don't, Steve. I mean, they hit me with that all the time. I just type it in, keep going, whatever. So, I mean, a lot of people get it. I wouldn't worry about that. And Paul, what was your big aha when you first started doing things and things came together? Do you still have them? Is there one you can share? My big aha. I mean, just working hard, I would say, Paula, and then just doing things for the right reasons. Like when I started with my big client, I really wanted to help him build his business. It wasn't really until I started thinking like that it started working really well. And then same thing with affiliate. I didn't really start making affiliate stuff work really well until I did it for the right reason. Like when I got into e-cigarettes and I was reviewing products that I knew helped people quit smoking, so to better their life, better their health, could save their life. That's when that really started clicking and started working really well because I was passionate about what I was selling. So things like that, I think when you're passionate about what you're doing, of course, that mixed with hard work. Do you have any recommendation on how to power up guest post? Thanks. I mean, just like you would power up anything else I need. So you could send links to the categories tags if there is any. You could send links to that URL, but just be careful with your anchor text. But typically, I don't power up guest posts usually, and typically I don't power up a lot of stuff. I mean, I'll power up like Web 2.0s and socials like I did in the Over the Shoulder series, but other than that, I don't power up stuff a ton. It's just about getting the optimization correct, and that's about it. Usually you move up from there. If I get stuck, I'll usually start with powering social and Web 2.0. All right, from Justin, a few months ago, I was able to get movement on the SERPs through proper citations, social signals, and PBN links. For some reason, once I hit the front page, PBN links are not doing anything. I want to be able to get the top 5 spots for my local suburb niches, but I cannot break the barrier. I feel like I've tried everything and follow your advice for the OMG videos. I'm stumped. Should I look into hiring a coach for a private session? Should I do more than PBN links? I don't get why the sites won't move. I know it's a tough question to answer, just kind of a crossword. I'm not sure what to do. Yeah, how long? Okay, a few months ago. So what I've been seeing, Justin, is I think links are taking as long as 6 months to kick in. From what I've been seeing recently, I'm still looking more into this, but what I've noticed is at least, like, definitely in more competitive niches, I'll send links, like if it's a really competitive niche, I'll start sending links and it will jump up really quick to page 4 or 3. And then the movement from there is very slow. So it's almost like the links kick in, but depending on the competitiveness of the niche, it might take like a full 6 months to kick in. Like over the next 6 months, I'll slowly move up to where I want to be. Whereas in easier niches, it can be a lot quicker. You saw the Iowa City SEO, that moved up to #1 within, a month or so. That's a lot easier niche. So it seems like depending on the niche, and of course a lot of other things, quality of links, optimization. You could have optimization wrong, that could be why you're stuck, but it could just be those links are taking longer to kick in now. It's like Google's happy with their results for the most part, so they're not going to let someone just come in, after building a ton of links just like that because they're happy with their results. Like you're gonna need to take time to get up there because a lot of people, they get stuck and then they get frustrated. They build more links, and then with those more links, they mess up their optimization, or they're more prone to penalties. And that's what I think that's what Google wants right now. They want people to get frustrated and mess up. You just got to be confident in what you got, and you'll slowly move up over time. Because I mean, that's what I've been seeing. Again, it depends on the competitiveness of the niche and how well you do your optimization. But I'll build links and I'll get, like, in competitive niches specifically, I'll get stuck on page 2 and 3 for a couple months, and then I'll see it slowly move up over time without building any more links. It's like those links are just taking a while to kick in. And it's like the less competitive the niche is, the less that happens. Like, I might get bumped up to the second page right away after those links, then maybe it'll take another month to move up to the top of the first page. It just depends how competitive it is and how strong your links are and all that type of stuff. All right, when we add a link, how long roughly does it take for Google bots to come and crawl it? If we add a link and then remove it 20, 30 minutes later, is that okay, or would Google already have logged it? I don't know how long they take, Steve. Typically, I would say maybe a day or two. If you have a decent quality site, you're using something like Social Explosion, probably like a day, maybe less. I don't know. I've never really, I mean, I don't know if it's possible to track exactly how long it takes them. But I do know sometimes I'll send a link and within a day, I'll see movement. So, right. What is the most important for backlinks, the PR or the authority of the website? For example, if you have a PR6 from an unknown site and a PR4 link from Wikipedia, which one is most powerful? I mean, no one really knows, I would say, the exact right answer to that, Carl, but I just kind of look at everything, like the main authority, the page authority, the page rank, the Alexa ranking is a really big one. If it's getting a lot of traffic, that's big. So, I mean, I don't know if anyone can answer that question accurately, Carl, but I just look at everything. Domain authority, page authority, Alexa specifically, and then page rank. All right, Cotton mentioned his site was penalized and noticed he is now back. Has he or anyone covered what he did to get the manual action removed? Has your site come back? Was also hit by manual action. Any thoughts on recovering these type of penalties? I know Cotton had originally said he wouldn't try to recover. Did that change? What was your view? I don't know if he went over it. You'll have to ask him, but he did a manual review and just went through a process with that. His site's a little different than mine because mine, first of all, I use an expired domain, which they definitely don't like that. And it's affiliate. It's just different. His site, he started from the ground up. It's a brand. It's his name. Like it's a real business. Whereas mine, again, I kind of I used a trick from the get-go. I used an expired domain. I was harnessing the power of someone else's work. America Speaks, whoever did that site before. And I mean, I'm much less likely to get my site back than him. I didn't even try it because I don't expect he'd be able to. But I don't know if he went over how he did it. You would have to ask him. Stephen, where do I find the agenda for the assimilation in Dallas? I see it starts at 7:30. Is there a presentation or is it just an informal gathering? I plan to attend and send an RSVP. I guess that I just show up for the event and the insights. I don't even know, Stephen. I'm just showing up as well. I don't even know about those types of things. They just tell me where to be and what time, and I'm there. So, but I'll be there. So I'll see you in Dallas. I enrolled in project, and probably Stephen, it'll be posted in the OMG or in one of the groups. We'll post stuff, I'm sure. I enrolled in a Project J last year. Got very sick at the end. Was unable to keep up. I'm starting again from day one. No problem with that, Mayor. How do you increase the PA when I hide the A site? That using a citation link to your site, GSA Magic Street Box pay links. I'll do like PBN type links, Bill. I don't really use GSA and Magic type stuff, Straight Box. Can you change the site from Joomla to WordPress and change hosting without messing up the site's power and authority while keeping the domain name? The site is a PR4, a PA40 and DA28 and is 8 years old. Yes. You can perfectly fine. Just if there's links going to, if the URL structure is going to change, then you're going to have to redirect those links to the proper places or to the home page, which you can do with Link Juice Keeper or something like that. But yeah, you can change the site from Joomla to WordPress and then keep all of its power, definitely. All right. If Moz, Href, and Jessica can't find a part or even any of your PBN links to your money site because you blocked their spiders, then aren't their metrics always an underestimation of the real value of your site for Google? No, not for Google, because you're not blocking Google. They just report what they see. Google still sees it and counts it. You're just blocking them. So it's just they can't. People use these tools to see what other SEOs are doing. It just blocks the other SEOs. The data for the other SEOs. Google still gets that information. No one has the information Google has. Like, none of these tools are reporting what Google sees. They're just reporting what they see. So, you're not, like, negatively affecting yourself at all. From Young, will you try to cover America Speaks? No. Yeah, I just went over that. So I'm testing a method to recover de-indexed PBNs, and I had 2 success cases so far. That's pretty cool, Beyond. But no, I'm not going to try to recover that again because, I started with an expired domain. It's just totally different than Cotton's site, where his is like a real business. It's his name. It's a real business. Mine was an affiliate site, so where I harness the power of an expired domain. If you have a powerful PBN, you put one link with keyword anchor text in a post. Will this give a lot more power to that specific keyword compared to when you put 2 links for 2 different keywords? I don't mess with multiple links too much, Carl, to the same exact URL. I think that's what you're asking. But so I don't know exactly how they treat that. Supposedly, I think they grab the first link. So whatever the keyword or the first link was you had to that URL, that's what they would take, from what I understand. But I haven't messed too much with putting like 2 links to the same exact URL in an article. So I'm not sure about that. All right, from Jeff, I'd like to get into affiliate marketing and other CPA. And based on Joe's training videos, he seems to favor making videos first and then, based on traffic views later, decide whether to make an affiliate landing page. Do you generally agree with that approach? If not, why? Yeah, I think that's a great approach, for sure. Joe's really good at affiliate marketing. That just depends what direction you want to take. For me, I don't do that because I know my niche very well, so I don't have to do that. But yeah, that's a great way to approach it if you don't know the niche that you're into, for sure. All right, from Ryan, I'm having a difficult situation where a client site homepage seems to outrank all the inner pages. The inner pages are a little more than a month old, but are much more optimized for specific keywords. They have DAX built to them, social explosion, and some links. I even went through and tried to interlink all relevant internal pages to these without over-optimizing. Any ideas on what to do when you have such a dominant home page, but one that never gets past page 2? Google always seems to have older cache versions of the inner pages as well. Even though I disabled all caching to try and combat that. The home page must be pretty powerful. I've never had a problem with that, Ryan. If I do, I'll just send links to those inner pages with keyword optimized anchor text, and then that kind of makes them more relevant to the home page. If you got keyword optimized going to that inner page, that could take over for the optimization factor to rank that inner page. So anytime I've had that problem, I've just done that, and then it took care of it. Another thing, you can just make sure that those inner pages, again, are more optimized than the home page on page. Like if you have an inner page about web design or something, and then the home page mentions web design more, that could be a reason why the home page is ranking as well. But it seems like from what you're saying, that's not an issue. You've taken care of that. with what you said here. So I've never seen really a case of that rhyme. From Donald, I used the host privacy option on my local SEO website, registered and hosted by Namecheap. Now states that the owner of my website is located in Panama. I'm most definitely not in Panama. That sounds incredibly spammy to me, and if I was researching for a website, it would seem fairly unreliable local SEO. No, that's just like the privacy protection thing, Donald. Don't worry about that. That's normal. From Kelly, how careful do I have to be about using varied registrars? I have many old domains, public not private, on GoDaddy and Namecheap. If I make the new domains private, does it matter if I continue to register these two? You should be fine with that, Kelly. Those are big enough where just using those two, you should be fine. Unless you're doing like a huge site with like a ton of links, which I don't even worry about, so you won't have that problem. Now if you're using like two small registrars, like something like Big Rock and Hover, where not many people use them, and you're going to be sending like 20 links to a site just between those two, then you might run into a problem. Because remember, Google's an algorithm, is a probability-based algorithm. The probability of someone sending all Hover and Big Rock links to a site, 20 links, is slim to none. Whereas GoDaddy and Namecheap are two of the biggest registrars, so the chances of that are much higher, and it's likely you're not going to get in trouble for that. Because I do it all the time. Alright, from Carl's, correct grammar very important for your PBN post, and Google also find if the meaning of the words doesn't make a lot of sense, even when the grammar is correct. And is it good enough if you spin an article and put it in Grammarly to correct, and then just use it without checking everything manually to make sure it makes perfect sense? I mean, my guess is that Google can read grammar, so I think that is important. Even if they can't now, if it doesn't weigh in now, I think it will in the near future. But I think it does now. And it's just easy enough. I mean, a PBN is valuable enough where just for me, it's worth it to take the time to get a correctly written article. It doesn't have to read well. Like, it doesn't have to be like, if I read it, I can be like, man, this article sucks. But as long as it reads well grammatically and sentence structure, that's all I care about. Because Google can't tell like quality of an article as far as like, is it really quality? But I think they can tell, like you're saying, grammar and a little bit of sentence structure stuff. So, I mean, that's all that I worry about. Are we able to use plugins like Manage WP, Infinite WordPress, etc. in order to manage my PBNs a little easier? Do they leave a footprint? I have used them, Danny, and I had no problems with it, but I just stopped using them just because I just never really used them. I just kind of go off spreadsheets, but when I was using them, I had no problems, Danny. That was about 9 months ago, I would say. So, I mean, it could have changed, but when I did it, I didn't have any problems. I got a notice from Namecheap asking me to contact ICANN because they were considering making all commercial domain information available to who is, regardless of privacy settings. Is there anything to this? I haven't heard about that, Kelly. That'd be interesting. Yeah, but I haven't heard anything about that. From what percent of duplicate content you can get a penalty? I don't know, Coral. I don't mess with duplicate content just because it's for me. There's no reason to even mess with duplicate content. I just order unique content, so that's not even in play for me. You know what I mean? Like, my point of view is why even make that a part of the equation. Like, you can just totally take out duplicate content as part of the equation if you just don't use it. So, I mean, for me, that's the easiest route. If I use unique content, if something happens, I don't have to worry about duplicate content being an issue. That's one less thing I got to test with and worry about if that was the problem. So I just don't use duplicate content at all. I just use unique content. All right, I'm still trying to understand One Piece Supercharger versus Social Explosion. Can you explain when and where I would use each of them? Also understand that vKraken is for PBNs only. Is there a charge related to it, vKraken? I believe vKraken's free. 1-feed supercharger is just for getting like RSS feeds involved. You can get like pages of your sites involved to get social signals to them and all that. But they should have videos, Stephen, in their members area explaining both of those things. I mean, Social Explosion actually sends social signals, then 1-feed supercharger helps you put like a bunch of properties into one feed, so you can send them out to like multiple properties through one thing. And then also allows you to like, because you can put pages in an RSS feed, and Social Explosion only goes to posts, so it allows you to also get signals to pages of your sites. All right, would it be okay to do a naked link to your money site from a picture? Yes, JR. Regarding the transfer of the PBN site from the Network Solutions to Namecheap, I transferred it last week, so should I wait a while before posting from it? Is it safe to continue to link directly to my money sites from this PBN? This PBN passes the penalty checks, and I've been linking directly with it with no problem for the transfer. Basically, do I treat the site exactly the same as before the transfer, or is there any precautions? I'd treat it the same way, Steve. When creating a domain name, is the best of all words a brand keyword combo, say Iowa City SEO, etc.? It depends what you're looking for, Kelly. Sometimes I would say a brand's better, depending on what you're looking to do. Sometimes keyword combo is better. I mean, a keyword combo is going to rank better for that specific keyword that you have in your domain name, but it limits you to how far you can expand the site. Because, you know, if the site's name Iowa City SEO, if I want to go after California SEO, that's going to be a weird thing to do for that site. You know what I mean? Whereas if I have GregMorrison.com or CottonGrammar.com, I just put a page up for California SEO. And then it's pretty, you know, it's a lot more natural looking. So let's say there's ups and downs to both. Not really a right or a wrong there. I have a lead gen site that has my #1 ranking. I want to now expand other cities. For example, I ranked keyword expert Portland, Oregon. Now want keyword expert Bend, Oregon, etc. How do I make unique content for each city? I do not want to get any duplicate content penalties now or in the future. You just create general content and just add the city to the content. That's what I used to do, Danny. I think duplicate content still works for local, from what I understand. It does actually, because Cotton Slate's back, so it does, because that's what he does. But the question is, how long is that going to work? You know, is that something that they're going to do away with? So it's up to you. I mean, right now it's working, where you can use the same content and just change the location. That's working still. But, you know, again, the question is it going to continue to work? And that's just a decision you got to make. All right, from Bill, what is the best way to get a YouTube video that is the top video of page 2 to the SERP page 1? There are no YouTube videos on page 1. I mean, PBN links are my biggest tool, Bill. I would just send PBN links with some keyword optimized anchor text. Mayra, my sister has a truck company. I am practicing on building a website for her. I bought a .com from GoDaddy and hosted with the Doral hosting company. I'm working on a website with WordPress, but I'm stuck on it as far as I'm going. You go in, Mayra, there should be training on website building in there, like with the skin and all that. And then, of course, with the Iowa City SEO, I think Fletch covered like the website design for that. I mean, you could even just get up a site with the content on it to start, Mayor, and then worry about making it look good later. Because, I mean, just getting the content up initially it's the most important part, because then you can actually get stuff ranking once you have the content. And then you can kind of start working on the design from there. So, I mean, that would be my advice. Just get the site up, get the content up. And then as you move along, you can kind of worry more about the look of the site and all that. Kurt, for PBNs, how low of a DA would you consider to purchase a PBN now? And how much of a factor is the PA of homepage in your decision? Kurt, I go as low as usually 24 is my bottom. but I go after more competitive niches. I tell people you can go as low as 15, but I mean, it really depends on the niches you're in. Remember, the less links you have, the easier SEO is right now. So, I mean, typically higher is better, but I can get some pretty good ones with 24. Because obviously DA, PA isn't everything, but typically I'll set my bottom at 24 for me. And how much of a factor is it? I mean, that's just it's a filter for me, Kurt. So if it's 24 or above, or 25 or above, whatever, I think it's 25 or above. I actually do above 24. If it's 25 or above, I mean, that's just a higher chance of it meeting my final approval. I'll look at everything else. Like I'll look at the links going to it, the quality of the links, the Alexa rankings of them, and I put that in the OMG Command Center, that backlink checker tool. I'll look at the Alexa rankings of the links going to the site, the DA and PA, the links going to the site, the page rank, and from there I see the whole picture. So DA PA is more just like a filter. There's some great DA 25, PA 25 sites out there. There's some really, really good ones. Now there's horrible ones. Just like DA PA 50. There's some really, really good sites out there, really strong sites at 50. Then there's some horrible ones because it's all spam. So I just kind of use that as an initial filter, and that's my low ball filter for me, is about 25. And then that kind of allows me to gauge everything else. If it's 25 or above, it's more likely to fit what I'm looking for. Whereas for me, if it's like 15, it's probably not going to be a site that I personally want because I'm in more competitive niches. So, I mean, that's just like a starting point where I use the filter. All right, Kelly, I understand that PR doesn't matter a whole lot, but is there any greater help from, say, a 0 versus a NA? Not anymore, Kelly. I mean, as time goes on, PR is getting less and less relevant. It can still be used though as a filter. If something has a high PR, it's more likely to be a better site. It doesn't mean it is, but it's just more likely. So, I mean, it's something that you can still use as a filter, but as time goes on, it's being less and less of a dependable filter. Do you still recommend vCracken plus Social Explosion to a subdomain to increase the DA of a money site? Seems kind of risky, but in my competitive analysis, I see your friends doing it. I mean, like you said, it can be kind of risky, Bill, but it can improve the power a little bit. I mean, I don't use it a ton, to be honest, but when I use it, it seems to help a little bit. So it's up to you if you want to use it or not. When ranking a YouTube video, both links with anchor text and embeds are important. Could you say that the weight in terms of importance will be 50-50? I don't know if you can put a specific number on it. For me, I still think anchor text is more important than embeds. So I'd say the anchor text part is higher because you're helping Google identify what the video is about. But I mean, embeds can still be powerful, so it's good if you can get both in the mix. What's the easiest way to download all the URLs in a website? I mean, I just use the website or the Wayback Machine thing in OMG Command Center, Joanne. If you're talking about like downloading an old site. If you're talking about like a current site you own, you would just want to copy it probably in the cPanel. I mean, I don't know a ton about that type of stuff. I usually have other people do that for me because I'm not like technically good like that, but it just depends what you're talking about there. If you're talking about a site you own, you would just go in the cPanel and copy it, or just talk. You talk to the host and ask them to copy it for you. If you're talking about a different site that you don't own, I mean, I just do that in the with the OMG Command Center. How many links do you send to a site before you wait to let them kick in, or do you look for specific signs that tell you that you should stop now and wait till links fully kick in? Again, that depends on competitiveness. I kind of talked about this in the beginning of the webinar. It seems like in easier niches, you're going to bump up quicker. Competitive niches, you're going to go through a slower process. Like, for example, I'm in a really competitive niche. I started sending links to it 2 weeks ago, and pretty much instantly I jumped up to page 4. Then, since then, it's only moved up a few spots. And it's like just the links I sent, they're going to take a while to kick in. It's like they're in a competitive niche. they're somewhat happy with the results that are there. I mean, Google's obviously the best search engine, so what they're doing is working. So they're not going to just let a brand new site come in and take over just because it has a lot of links. Those links are going to take a while to kick in. You know what I mean? In less competitive niches, you got sites ranking with virtually no links, so it's a lot easier to come in and take over quicker. But if you already have sites in place that have a lot of links, like a lot of good trusted links, they're not going to just let some new site come in and take over with because they have good links. Those links are going to take a while to gain trust and all that, if you get what I'm saying. That's the way that I look at least why that's happening. All right, if you have a brand new site and PBN you're not sure of quality, how many Web 2.0s would you use to build trust for sending the PBN to the money site? Would a Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter be good enough, and would you use Fiverr for press release and bookmarks, etc.? I wouldn't use Fiverr for anything directly to my money sites, personally. How many would I use? I mean, again, it depends on the niche and also your experience. You know, I don't want to tell you to ever send PBNs directly to a money site if you're a complete beginner, because that's something that can mess you up. But I mean, it works very well. And I made a video about this. If your site doesn't have trust and you don't know what to look for in a PBN, and you send a penalized PBN to a money site, and it's one of the first links that money site gets, that's trouble. That could mess the site up for good. So I mean, that's why I'm hesitant telling people to do that, especially at the beginner level. So I mean, I would build up that trust as much as you could if you're somewhat a beginner. Whereas more experienced people, in my case, I'll send PBNs directly with no other links right away because I'm confident in what I'm looking for and doing penalty checks and all that beforehand. So I mean, it's hard to give advice on that because I don't know exactly where you are as far as experience. But the newer you are, the more I would build up that trust first before sending PBNs directly to the money site, and that's just to kind of keep you safe. I have a PBN that only has 2 pages, 2 articles, and a video or 2. I sent about 7 links total from it to some Web 2.0s and citations. PBN is now ranking ahead of everything. It is on number 1 on page 1. I'm just laughing because I've had that happen. I'm trying to figure out why it jumped like it did. It only has a DA19. Should I put more work into it and make it look legit since it's ranking so high? Yeah, I mean, you could. Look, sometimes, guys, again, here goes back to Kurt's example, a DA19 site, okay? There's something about that site that just Google just really likes. I mean, we look at as many metrics as we can, but there's metrics involved that I'm sure we just don't even consider that Google does. We don't know exactly what they look for all the time. So there's something about this site they really like. It's really strong, and this happens with PBNs, and it's outranking what he's even linking to. And I mean, that's just a perfect example of why you can only use DA as a filter. Like, here's a DA19 site that is obviously very strong. He's putting up content, it's outranking what he's linking to. So that's a perfect example of kind of DA just being a filter, where you also got to look at other things. But yeah, I mean, listen, I've had that happen. And sometimes, I mean, sometimes it seems like Google just like there's a perfect optimization between like your URL and your on page that can rank extremely well with no specific anchor text going to it, just because you hit that sweet spot with optimization. Again, like there's certain things, like people ask, what's the perfect optimization on page? Like, how many times should I have my keyword? Like, that's impossible to answer because it depends on how big the keyword is and how many searches it gets. And like, there's so many things involved. We can only give a basic guideline of what to use. Like, Google is a final deciding factor of what exactly you can use. For each keyword, it's going to be different. So for that particular site list, you probably just hit that sweet spot for that particular keyword. You get what I'm saying? Where you mention like the perfect amount of times with that exact keyword, the perfect amount of times with that exact LSI type keywords, and they just really like what you do with that on page. And also, it's probably a strong site, especially for a DA19. All right, from Carl, and that's why you should also play with your on page, guys. Change up the amount of LSI and the amount of times you use your keyword. On page is very easy to change. You just go in, you edit stuff, you hit publish, and it's done. Give it a week and see how it moves. On page is extremely easy to change, so always mess with changing around your on page. I remember you said a while ago you were testing Social Ad, or do you already have some results? And also you tested Social Llama, or what other surfaces you use to get social signals. It is recommended to get some signals from Facebook and Google Plus as they are not included social excluded. Honestly, I didn't see crap from either service, Carl. Maybe a tiny bit, but I mean, compared to links, PBN type stuff, barely anything. How do you create content for money and PBN sites? I just order articles, Danny. Order articles. You discuss the difference between de-index and non-index domains when it comes to reviewing PBNs to buy, how to ensure you're not buying the wrong thing. I mean, Jeff, for me, I don't really buy expired domains. I buy auction domains because they typically have more power, or the higher chance of being more power, because if they don't get picked up at auction, then they go expire. So most of the good domains are picked up at auction. So at auction, they should be indexed. If they're de-indexed, that means there's some type of penalty which got them out of Google's index. Not indexed means, it could just be the site hasn't been up for a while, so it's just not in the index. And if you put up a new site, it will come back in the index. So, I mean, that's just the way that I look at it, and I typically look at auction domains. All right, from Steve, last week I remember I still had access to 2 profiles for a networking group I used to be a member of. On each profile, they have a section where you can list 4 links and use your own anchor text, so I logged in and replaced the old links I had in there for properties on right now. Thinking about it, I guess this would be the same as going to a PBN post and changing the anchor text, but didn't think about it at the time. One property was a YouTube video, which moved up. Another is a website, which has moved down. Some of the other properties haven't moved at all. One property in particular had 2 listings on page 1 for a keyword. One for the home page, one for the inner page. I linked to this site to the home page with this keyword as an anchor from this profile, and the home page has disappeared off page 1, but the inner page is still ranking fine. The site's home page is still ranking on page 1 for other keywords. Have I majorly messed up doing this? Should I remove all these links completely, delete the profiles, or leave them? I mean, that's a tough question because I don't know what else is going on. I mean, the up-down movement could be temporary. The up-down movement could be from other factors involved, like maybe, if something moved down, it, completely disappear. Maybe it's you over-optimized with that additional link. Or again, it could just be temporary, like I said, because, that's common where you link something, it'll disappear for a little bit and come back higher. So, I mean, it's impossible to say, but typically when I add, like, if I were to do that, Steve, I would have added more content with it. I kind of, instead of just replacing the links, I would have added content on top of it. So, but it's really hard to say what to do there. I would probably just leave them for now and just see what happens over the next couple weeks. Have a local site that I'm going to change from one company to another. Most will be seamless, but the About page might get tricky since it's all about the previous company. Any suggestions? I wouldn't worry too much about that, Kelly. Just change it. Change it to the new company name. You shouldn't have any problems there. Keep hearing the terms GSA, but I'm not sure what it is. Can you explain what GSA is? It seems that it's something that is not currently recommended. Is that correct? I mean, I don't use it, Steve. It's basically like a spam type tool. It sends a lot of spammy type links to properties. It doesn't work as well as it used to. For local stuff, if I'm just setting up lead gen sites and I don't care to get an address, is it okay to use PBN links, social signals, and Web 2.0s to rank it and not send citations? And would it just require more PBN links? Yeah, typically, JR. I mean, you don't need citations to rank. If I have a brand new site and PBN, you're not sure of quality, how many Web 2.0s would you use to build trust? Okay, we went over that one. Bill, do you worry about logging into webmaster tools for different money sites for PBNs from the same IP or even the same computer on a different IP? Additionally, do you concern yourself with Google Fonts logging your WordPress admin IP when you log in? Installed, I remove Google Font reference in many of my PBNs to you. I don't mess with webmaster tools too much, especially for my PBNs, Bill. I just do the penalty check that I showed in the March, April, May Mastery webinars. As far as Google Fonts, I heard about that, and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. I haven't seen any problems with when I don't use it yet, so I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be a problem down the road, but I haven't seen anything from it yet. Sue Bell said she doesn't like using Chrome for Big Brother type reasons. What are your thoughts on Chrome and potentially giving you away? I mean, I like Chrome. I'll use it for certain stuff, but usually I'll do like my PBN type posts and stuff in the Internet Explorer, like non-Chrome stuff, just to be safe. All right. How many links can you send from one PBN to your Facebook or other Web 2.0? You can send as many links as you want, but the more links you send out from a PBN, the more risk you're putting yourself in. The more stuff you link to, if that site gets penalized, then if that PBN gets penalized, it has a higher chance of affecting more properties. That's all. Based on your response, is it just a matter of waiting? It's been more than 6 months for me, still stuck. If it's been more than 6 months, Justin, it's likely something else. If you sent your last link more than 6 months ago, it's a different problem. I would say it's probably some type of optimization issue. Again, go on and mess with your on page. Compare it to the number one, the page one guys ahead of you, especially at the top 3 results. How is their on page optimization? Start with on page, and then once you mess around with that for a while, then move to your off page. Your links. Make sure you're not over optimized there. Do you create social accounts in Web 2.0s for PBNs? Typically not. I've messed with IFTTT a little bit, but I mean, typically I don't. When putting in links on YouTube, is it okay to put the website URL if you out Facebook, Google Plus, etc.? If you out, I think if you meant if you put, yeah, that's fine. You mentioned in video and again here today that you were able to put multiple PBNs on shared hosting so long as you don't link to. This is where I get lost. Can you explain again? How do you track? Yeah, so if this would be, let me bring up a new thing here. For example, I'll get HostGator, right? Maybe HostGator is my first host. All right, and I have PBN 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe I have 5 PBNs here. For me, I have like 20 per host. And then here, maybe I have Apollo hosting. So I have Coplux on. See, I got PBN 1, PBN 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. All right. So if I got a money site 1 and money site 2, let's just say money site 1. Well, money site 1 can get a link from HostGator, but only one link. Okay. So I can only use one of these PBNs for money site 1. So you can only use one site per host. All right. So PBN 1 may link to money site 1. All right. Now I've linked from this host, so I can't use 2, 3, 4, or 5 for this money site 1. Okay. can't use any site on this host for this site because it's already one site's already been used. So if I want another link, I gotta go to one of my other hosts. Okay, here's my second host, Apollo. I don't have Money Site 1 on here yet, so I can put this on any of these. So maybe I'll go to PBN3, link to Money Site 1. Now again, if I want to link to Money Site 1, I can't use HostGator and I can't use Apollo because I've already used these two hosts. Even though I have 4 open PBNs on these two hosts, on each of these hosts, I can't use any of those for Money Site 1. I got to use them for a different money site. Now, if I want to link to Money Site 2, like I can use 2, 3, 4, 5 here for only one of them. So maybe I'll use this one and link to Money Site 2. But now I can't use any of these for Money Site 1 or 2. It's done for that money site. These are only open for different money sites. So if I want another link for Money 2, I got to go to this host. I don't have Money 2 here, so I can use this for Money Site 2. And now this hosting is done for this site. All right. If I want any links for Money 1 or Money 2, I got to go to a different host. So I got to go to a different host, and then use one of any of these on here, but just one for each site. In kind of the same boat as Mara, I have a website built using the Director's Cut, Scan Genesis, and Dynamic, but I've never built a site before. I'm kind of stuck. For example, how do you get the contact form and discovery form live? Where can you extract it and store data from them? Now, I would probably ask that in a session with Fletch, because he's really good with that type of stuff. I know he covered that in the Over the Shoulder series. So if you want to talk anything like with web design type stuff, I would go to a Fletch office hour, and he'll be able to cover that very well for you. So once I get the site up through WordPress, how do I rank it? What is the process? That's where you would start building links to it and whatnot, Mara. So you'd want to, in your case, you're a complete beginner, so you would probably want to, it's a trucking company, you could do some citations for it. Go through the section on how to build citations and all that, which Cotton covers very well. Get some citations built, get some social properties built like Facebook, Yelp, Twitter, that type of stuff. Get some trust going to that site, and then see where you stand from there. And then you can start getting into how to build PBNs, send PBNs to some of those social properties, and then take it from there. All right. You're going to want to learn how to, get social properties built, like get Facebook up, Twitter up, get some citations built, and go from there. Pretty easy process. It just takes a little bit to learn how to do it. That's all. You go through those videos though, and you'll be fine. Alright, in your videos you assign a ranking to your PBNs. Being new, how do we determine the strength? I have a lot of PBNs I got from using Becker's Revive, but I'm not sure how to determine individual strength. Again, you gotta look at the whole picture, Danny. Use something as a filtering process, and then from there look at everything. I particularly use the LMG Command Center, the backlink checker tool, because I can look at the PR of the links going to that site, the Alexa rankings of the properties going to that site. DA and PA, the properties going on that site, and I kind of use all that information together to determine how powerful the site is. And you got to kind of come up with your own scale to determine how powerful your PBNs are. Alright, for my review site, topbizopreview.com, page 1 bonus, I'm ranked number 3 for best page 1 engine review, but for page 1 engine review, it's still not even indexed. That is not very logical, I guess. I sent some 2 powerful PBN links with the exact keyword anchor text last Wednesday. How many times can it take before it has effect? I mean, it could just be some type of optimization thing, most likely, Carl, if you're ranked for this one but not this one. So, I mean, I would need to see the whole picture of what you sent there and, the on-page and all that. You sent them last Wednesday, so 5 days ago. Let me come back to that one, Carl. Maybe that's the last thing I'll cover. This was all the questions so far. Keyword I'm trying to rank for is Naperville Plumber. Doesn't seem super competitive for the links to take that long. Again, it depends how long ago you said those links, Justin. Can you check to see if a PBL is penalized? Yes. Go over the March, April, May Mastery webinars. How the heck does something like this with no content rank for cheap DVS shoes? I mean, they're probably just using some tricks, JR, some 301, stuff like that. You know, typically that type of stuff doesn't last very long, so I wouldn't worry too much about that stuff. If you do not use PBNs, what is the first Web 2.0 citation you would use to send a keyword anchor link to a money site? Probably something like Weebly, something like that, Paul. But I mean, typically I use PBNs. I think you can do a quick analysis if I give you the link. I'm not sure what analysis you're talking about there, Justin. It depends how much time we got toward the end here. If you're doing client SEO, is there any rule of thumb on how many clients can be linked from a single PBN? No rule, Chad, but again, the more stuff you link to, the more people are going to be affected if that PBN is affected. So, you know, the more stuff you link out to, the more of a chance you're taking, that's all. I've seen people with PBNs linking out to, 50, 100 sites, and it works. But if that PBN gets affected, then it's going to affect more properties. Are vCrack and SEO on money sites still okay? I'm still about to install on a money site subdomain. I mean, it's still okay, Jamie. It works. It does help a little bit, but again, it is a little bit of a risk, I would say. Use VPN or proxies? Any recommendations? I only use proxies when I use Scrapebox for mass checking of indexing for my PBNs and stuff like that. But typically, no. Have you tested PandaBot? Do you think that search and click software works if used properly? I haven't tested PandaBot, but I've tested stuff similar, and it's mixed results. Sometimes I'll get a little movement, sometimes I'll get none. So nothing that I've seen worth using, in my opinion, yet. So let me go back to this. TopBizOpReview.com. Page 1 engine bonus. I don't know if it just my computer, but it's taking a while to load. And it looks like Ahrefs is too, so it's probably just my computer. There we go. This is going to be hard to analyze with the little time we got, but I got you at number 3 for page 1 engine bonus. Whoever asked this. Who was that? Carl? Yeah, I got you at number 3 for that. So you said you weren't ranking for page 1 engine bonus, but I see you at number 3. Oh, page 1 engine review. Just bear with me, guys. I'm just kind of checking out a couple things. I don't know if you're blocking bots or not. I'm going to try to look at your anchor. Try taking, let's see, you got, get these comments out of your sidebar. Who's this again? Carl? Yeah, Carl, get these comments out of your sidebar. Just go into your, going on mind blank. If you don't know how to do it, let me know, send me a message. But get these comments out there. You just go to your widgets. That's what I was thinking. Your widgets, and drag recent comments out of your sidebar. You'll take it, go into widgets, and you can drag it over to the left side, and it'll take them out. Just because that could be over optimizing you for that, because it's mentioned quite a few times in here. And then maybe take it out once in your content. So I think it's like 6 times in that sidebar. So you want, it's mostly in those comments. Yeah, so first step I would do is take out the comments in your sidebar and see what that does for you, because I think it might just be an on-page optimization thing that you got going on. Now, you just sent those 2 links, so if I were you, I would have told you maybe send 1, if anything, not 2, but we'll see. Give it time, take these comments out and see what happens. If that doesn't work, what I would probably do, let's see. You only got it once in the content, so that's good. We got it twice. You got it once. We got it 3 times, technically. The next step I would do is change this to review of page 1 engine. So from page 1 engine review to review of page 1 engine. Use it one less time in your content, and then just give the links time to kick in. All right, and that's the steps that I would do to start. But those recent comments could be hurting you as far as optimization. Page 1 engine review doesn't get many searches, and you're mentioning it, 9 times on the page with the comments involved. So it's probably just over optimized on page for that. That's a somewhat long tail keyword, and you're mentioning it. I think it's just being mentioned too much on the page. All right, so just try that. All right, guys, I gotta go pick up my son soon. But let me see if there's any final questions that I can answer here. There's a few more, so I'll get these last few questions. Yeah, because Carl, I don't really see any other reason, unless there's anchor text I'm not seeing. There's not really any other reason that you would not be ranking for anywhere for page 1 engine bonus page 1 engine review than just being over optimized for that. 'Cause, I mean, then you're number 5 for best. And then for page 1 engine bonus, you're number 3. Let me just see what your keyword density is for that really quick. All right, see that? So the difference here, it's mentioned only 3 times. All right, and really this one right here is actually bonuses. There's an exact one there, so that's 1 actually, and then there's 2 and it's in your pages sidebar. So that's, I mean, that's probably the difference. You got that being only mentioned 3 times, and they probably get the same amount of searches, whereas page 1 engine review is being mentioned 3 times as much, which can make a big difference. So, I mean, that's the changes I would make. Start with getting rid of those comments, and then maybe even change that one page engine, whatever review, to review of page 1 engine. Just kind of use an LSI there. Whoops, I don't think I took a screenshot. So I'm going to get these last few questions, and I got to run, guys. All right, let's see. All right, the other day I was logging into one of my sites, and I got a warning message that my IP has been logged on a spam blacklist database. Definitely not spam, so I have no idea how it happened. I checked my IP on what is my IP address, and it shows my IP is listed on 4 the 8 databases there. I've had a look at the 4 blacklist databases, and it seems a person mostly gets onto these lists for spam emails, which I do not do. I read that I need to correct the error issue before applying to be removed from the list, or if I get back on before it is resolved, it could be much harder to come off. If I can't find any info as why I'm on there. Do you know anything about this? I know nothing about that, Steve, that type of stuff. I would ask that maybe in the Facebook group. There's some pretty good tech people in there that might be able to help you with that, but I have absolutely no experience with that. Have you used expired Web 2 nodes to rank, or is it a waste of time? With expired domains, do you lose their power and not good to use? I haven't messed too much with expired Web 2.0s, but I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. From people I know that use them, I'm sure it does work. With expired domains, do they lose their power and not? No, expired domains are fine to use. Typically, they're just not going to have as much power as auction domains, which I need more power for the niches I'm in. A lot of people like Gr0G Ortiz. I mean, he uses mostly expired domains. As far as like ones that actually expire, and he does totally fine. I think he's still ranking for New York City SEO with all expired domains. Yeah, he's still number 1 for that, and he used all expired domains. So, I mean, they work fine. Just you're going to get more power out of auctions typically. All right, cool. All right, Don, I'll see you there. All right, guys, so I'm going to end this session here now. Hopefully this recording went through, and I will I'll get this over to David hopefully tonight, and I'll have it up by tomorrow. I'm guessing I'll have it up. And anyone going to Dallas, I will see you there. All right, guys, I'll be there, I think, late Thursday maybe. And I probably won't come out till a Friday, but anyone's going, I will see you there. All right, I'll see you all next week if not. Have a good one, guys.